Shalom, Israel. I just got out of what they call a YouTube prison. They went back and got a video that was almost a year ago. And I couldn't make a video for a few weeks. So it kind of pissed me off. So that's why it's been so long since I've made another one. The question I have is, do we have an enemy? And if we have an enemy, how can we destroy that enemy? How can we get rid of that enemy? I'm going to go into some scriptures, show you a video, that I'm going to top it off with destroying the enemy. Let's go to Genesis 4:14 and 15. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity. This one is very important. I will put enmity between thee seed and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Now, seed comes from a male. So he's telling, I know Christians think it's a snake, but he's telling this individual that when he have children and the woman have children, it's going to be a particular race. There's going to be hatred between the two. So the enemy actually started here. And between thy seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So throughout time, when children were born unto the woman and born unto the serpent, okay, that statue that you saw of King Nebuchadnezzar was a timeline. And they will be enemies throughout that whole timeline, all the kingdoms that was built. We were slaves in those kingdoms. And this was before the flood. But this happened again after the flood when the Most High made his seed. Okay, let's go into that so you'll understand better. This is not talking about everybody. He's talking about a particular seed, a particular race of people. Let's go to Genesis 25:21 and 26. Genesis 25:21 through 26. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations. Remember, he talking about the two seas in the other verse earlier. Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Now it's pointing out these two babies that's coming out of Rebekah. Notice he's not saying anything about any other race at this time. There were other races, but he's particularly talking about these two seeds. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Now, it's not but one race that's red. You could slap him or say curse words to him. It'll turn red as a crayon. And after that came his brother out in his hand and took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. This is Esau and Jacob. So when Jacob came out, he had the heel of Esau. So Jacob came out second. There was a reason for that. And Isaac was 80 years old when he bare them. That's about 60 years old. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents with his mom. Esau loved the field, even to this day. He loved going hunting. No other race is going to put a female deer piss on him just to catch a male. Put it all on him to smell like a female deer just to catch a male buck. No other race does that. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man. Now, a cunning hunter, and there's only one race that loves to hunt. You're not going to take his guns. You know who I'm talking about. I'm trying not to say the name so they won't strike this video. Love to hunt. I mean, will kill anything. If it wasn't for the laws, they'd kill it and leave it. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. And Rebekah loved Jacob. Now, Jacob, you notice it didn't say anything about his color, because Jacob came out looking like everybody else that was around, all other races that was already existing. Jacob looked just like them, but Esau came out different. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with thy same red pottage. The pottage was red because the meat wasn't done. It still had blood in it. Now, who eats medium rare raw meat to this day? Now, black folks do it today, but at one time, we never ate nothing that was raw or had blood in it because it was a law we weren't supposed to. It was in our law that was given to us in the wilderness when the Most High brought us out of Egypt. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So he didn't really care about his birthright. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage and lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So there's your two seeds, Esau and Jacob. Okay. Now let's go into Genesis 32 and 28. Now watch this. Now remember Jacob. 32. 22 through 28. Now watch this. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. How can you tell Jacob's children? Remember back in the 70s, black folks used to walk with the limp, and we still do to this day. Mexicans do it too. But go back and watch the movie Superfly, and you will see there's like they used to call it a pimp walk. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. So all of the children that Jacob had was named Israel. They became the Israelites. And when they had children, they all were considered Israelites that spoke Hebrew. Hebrew Israelites. The picture is behind me. You see all those different people. We're all in different nations. The 12 tribes of Israel. So that's where Israelite come from. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. So Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Okay. So when he started having seeds and Esau started having seeds, they were always at each other all the time. Even when we got the land of Cain, and we changed the name from Cain to Israel, and it's Israel to this day. Okay, so we are not the Africans that you think we are. We come from Israel. Okay, Jerusalem. We ran into Africa. The Romans ran us into Africa in 70 AD. That's why the Messiah told the 12 disciples, when you see the streets compassed with army, flee into the mountains. Those mountains went into Africa, and we went there by the millions. That's how Africa got so populated. We went there in the millions. A few stayed. Now let's go into Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. Now listen to this. This is talking to the children of Jacob, the Israelites. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people. So that was all the nations that was in the land at that time. above above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Most High created a race of people to himself, which ended up being the Israelites from Jacob. Okay. So do we have an enemy? Yes. It's called Esau. Okay. Esau is a master of weapons. And Esau was only promised the dew of the air. So they resided in mountains, Mount Seir. That's where Esau started multiplying. Okay. And he grew his family there. When he was in the land, as he was growing with his cattle, the people that was in the lands didn't want him there anymore because they were filth. The way they lived, they were forced out of the lands, and they went into Mount Seir, and that's where they multiplied. Okay, Amos 3:1. Let's see. Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. See, we are not Egyptians. We were slaves there, and that's where we multiplied to become a nation of people. I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. So the Most High to give a damn about anybody else. He's still concerned about Israel to this day. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Punishment meant slavery. What we going through today when you see these young black men getting their heads blown off by the cops. Okay, during the Jim Crow era, hanging us by our necks. Let me explain it this way. You had a child and your child had a friend. They went out playing and got in some trouble. Police come by to your house, bring both children back and said, we're not going to arrest them. We just bring them back to you hoping that you do something with your child so he won't get in trouble. You thank the cop. But what are you going to do to those two children? The one that's not yours, you're going to send home. But yours, you're going to tear his butt up. You're going to light him up like a Christmas tree. This is what this is saying. I will punish you for all your iniquities. Other nations don't get punished like we do. Other nations have not been through what we've been through as a race of people. That's a fact. Let's go to back to Deuteronomy 28. Now, the Most High is talking to us in the wilderness now. Okay? Deuteronomy 28, 15. Hmm. 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Listen to what the Most High is saying to us. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken or listen unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overcome thee. There's a whole list of curses. If you go into Deuteronomy 28, there's a whole list of curses. All of these are curses. Okay? And all of these curses happen to us, showing you that we are the children of those Israelites that he was talking to. We are descendants of them. I'm going to show you something. Deuteronomy 28, I think it's 46. I'm going to show you this. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof I spake unto thee. Let me read this again. I want you to understand this. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Who was sold on auction blocks? So the Most High was talking to our bloodline, not the world like Christianity. Unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, that's slaves, slave man, slave women. And no man shall buy you. And nobody did get us out of it. It went on for hundreds of years. Okay, until prophecy came. Prophecy set us free, not Abraham Lincoln. Prophecy had to take place. Now, this is saying Egypt, I shall bring you into Egypt again. Let me explain Egypt. Exodus 20. This is what Egypt means. This is Exodus 20 and 1, 2, and 3. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. That was slavery. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And if you in other religions, you worshiping somebody else's God, just like Christianity. Christianity, this is what you worshiping. This trick right here. I'll explain him in a minute. Okay, that's Amos. Now let's go to 46, 28, 46. Deuteronomy 28 and 46. Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And let's go to 45 and 46 so you understand it better. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. And we are a destroyed race. We don't even know who we are. Okay, there are a lot of Israelite camps out there now that's trying to wake people up. But we are not Africans. We are not Egyptians. We're not Middle Eastern. Because thou hearkest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So can anybody get us out of this? How can you find the Israelites? Look for the curses. We are spread it out all over the world. Go to those countries and find the ghetto. You'll find Israel. Okay? Even in China, same thing. You'll find us there. In the Philippines, you'll find us there. Upon thy seed forever. And this is until the Messiah comes. So I don't care what religion you in. You're not going to gather a whole bunch of black folks to get our own towns, our own cities, our own this and that. We had black folks that tried that in the 60s. It didn't work. See, so when the Most High says something, he means it. And this is upon thy seed forever. That means the only time we are going to have our own is when the Messiah come back and destroy this and take us back to Jerusalem. That's it. I don't care what religion you in. You're not going to gather us together. Farrakhan's a good guy, but he's been trying that most of his life and still have not succeeded. Okay. The Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had our own town, our own, we were up and coming black race. What did they do? They destroyed it. The Most High sent Esau, and they was dropping bombs on that town. Black Wall Street, I think it's called. So it's not going to happen. You're going to have to wake up and come back to these laws. They're not done away with like Christianity says. So do we have an enemy? Of course we do. But I want to show you how the enemy can be destroyed. And it can only be one way. And I've been saying it for the longest. And a lot of camps got all these different types of things that they do, tactics that they do to try to wake us up, and we are waking up. It's a slow pace, but we're waking up. But there's one thing that can only destroy the enemy, which is Esau. And to wake all of us up. All of us not going to get woken up because 2/3 are going to fall, according to scriptures. Because they're not going to let Massa go. They're going to hold on to Massa till they die. Jeremiah 3:12. Now we're going to get into how we pissed off the Most High. Because under all those kings, you go into the book of Kings, under Solomon and his sons, they kept leading us toward what the world was doing and got us away from our Hebrew laws and customs that was given to us in the wilderness. Jeremiah 3:1-2. Now check this out. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? That's the woman's body. But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. Now, he's using the woman as an example, but he's talking about Israel when we were a nation of people and we started doing what the heathens were doing. We like what we saw people that was living outside of us that didn't have the laws that was given to us, because the laws that was given to us was only for the Israelites. It wasn't for any other nation but the Israelites. So under those kings, we started adopting ways and laws of heathen people that were outside of the Israelites. And the Most High here is saying, Even though you've done that, I'm asking you to come back to me, come back to the laws that I've given you. And he's practically begging Israel to stop doing what they were doing. This is our ancestors now. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways hast thou sat for them as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land and with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. We started getting into astrology. We started getting into, I think it's the six-pointed star. We started getting into child sacrifice. All of this evil mess. Watch Jeremiah 3. Let's go to 8, verse 8. Because of all of that, and I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I have put her away. Okay, now at this point, he's talking to the northern 10 tribes because the two southern tribes, Benjamin and Judah, which is the American blacks and the Jamaicans, okay, the American blacks and the Jamaican, that's Benjamin and Judah. We're the southern tribe because Israel was split into two. The northern tribes were really into world events at that time, so he split them. There's your two witnesses. And they went into slavery, and I think it was 421 BC, 721 BC. They went off into slavery first. Okay. Uh, then they came eventually, it's in the Apocrypha. Eventually, they came here. The Most High guided them to what this land is called Azareth, a land where no mankind dwelt. So he guided them here. Now this is Northern 10 tribe. Now watch this. I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. A bill of divorce means there would be no more protection for us because we were hated even back then because we had a I hate to say this word God. I hate using that word because it's a title. And if you take God and spell it backwards, that's what you're really saying. Because that protected Esau in the mountains. They were protected when they was building their homes, carving out of mountains where there were no doors. So what protected them were their dogs. And they treat them like gods even to this day. They sleep with them, eat with them, put them at the dinner table with them. You better not do nothing to them. You get a 25-year sentence just kicking the dog, and the dog trying to bite you. So this is what divorce is. There was no more protection from the Most High. Okay. Yet her treacherous sister Judah. Now we're talking about the southern tribe. Feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Eventually, we started doing the same as the northern tribes. Mainly, that's why the Romans here brought the Romans against us and ran us clean out of Israel, ran us out of Jerusalem, and the ones that were left ran into Masada. And there in Masada for 7 years, they had us trapped. See, this is history that your Christians and your other religions are not going to tell you. Okay? Your treacherous sister Judah went and played the harlot. See, so the enemy just took over the 12 tribes of Israel and spread us out by the way of slavery. Now, I want to show you this video. I'm gonna go back into Romans. I want to show you this video. And I want you to see if we can, what we can do to our enemies. Can we destroy our enemy? Let's see. Listen to this real good. I want you to listen to the voice. There's going to be a voice you need to hear. And I was watching this. It's an old movie. I was watching this, and then when I heard it, my mind clicked. And I'm like, I never paid attention to this years ago. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to see if I can add scriptures to this and try to make a video of it. Look, I want you to listen now. Don't pay attention to the video. Don't pay attention to the video or you're going to miss it. Listen to the voice.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions.
The enemy only has images and illusions, showing you a Messiah that's not really the Messiah.
Behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
Destroy the what? Image, and you will break the enemy. Now, what is he doing? Pay attention now, you'll miss it. What is he doing? He's breaking the glass because the image was everywhere. Just like this character here. I don't care where you go in the world, especially Europe, you see that image. So in order to destroy the enemy, you got to destroy the image. That's why he's breaking the glass. Now you see, you have to destroy this. This guy is that guy. The same person. I'm going to show you who that is. And I've been saying this for the longest. Until you destroy that, that's why it takes so long for us to wake up. Because we love that massa. The only way to destroy it is to expose him. This is what these camps are doing, and this is what we do as the three Hebrew boys. I'm Brother Yahweh from the three Hebrew boys, and we tear this sucker up. We tear him apart. That's how you destroy your enemy. Destroy what he hides behind. And they use that. This guy here, to make war with Islam. That Christian Islam war long ago under Christianity, where they had the cross on a shield, and the cross T really stands for Tammuz. That's how you destroy your enemy. You attack what he's hiding behind. Now let's go to Romans 13 and 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. It is time to come out of your sleep. And sleep means what they've told us all of these years was a lie, and we got to wake up. Now, I'm going to go into that character. I'm going into the Apocrypha, and I'm going to show you that character. Let me show you this one. It's the same guy, but most people not familiar with that image. Wisdom of Solomon, 14 and 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning when he has made an image of his son. That's Pope Alexander VI. Pope Alexander VI made an image of his child, soon taken away. Now honored him as a god. There it is. Honored him as a god. And that's what black folks look at when they say Lord or God. See, that's why I don't use that term. It's a Greek word. They took him and turned him into him. Pope Alexander VI. His name is Rodrigo Borgia. Rodrigo Borgia. That's his father's name. Now honor him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to chose that were under him ceremony and sacrifices. Wonder why so many kids come up missing? They still do child sacrifice to this day. In those upper secret societies, they still do it. See? Rodrigo Borgia. And his name is actually Cedra Borgia. Cedra Borgia. Same guy. His name is Cedra Borgia. His father's name was Rodrigo Borgia. He had 2 sons. That same guy, listen to this. That same guy, I'm just going to read one verse, right? I'm going to read one verse, but this is the book. Tip-Type Poison. Okay? If you can, get the book. It's a good book because it's going to explain who that guy is. It is not important to state the exact age when Cedra became his sister's lover. He had sex with his sister for 31 years. Made the wife of one of his brothers his mistress. Took his brother's wife, one of them, and was his mistress. In other words, he was boning her. Or murdered another brother. It is only relevant to say that he committed these acts, for it was such that made of him one of the most cruel, lascivious, and unnatural men who ever lived. Christians know him as Jesus, aka Zeus. Okay. So do we have an enemy? Yes. Can we break the enemy? Yes. I didn't want to make this long. Come on. I didn't want to make this long, so I'm gonna end it right there. And until next time, Israel, shalom.
Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe